being in the industry you're in, that's the wrong industry for someone who has recovered from an eating disorder. But looking at you right now in your beautiful, strong muscles, it actually makes sense because you are strong physically, which translate to strength and mentally. And I feel like for women, and I talk to my women clients all the time about the importance of muscle,
Mhm,
especially as we get old. It's not just for
mhm,
the vanity, but it's for
mhm.
longevity, health. But I also think there's this part of you that the more muscle or strength you have, the more mental strength and endurance you have. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I first just want to validate, yes, absolutely. How important is muscle for longevity and for our long-term health? And I think for me, so much of the shift in my, I guess, self-acceptance and confidence has come from recognizing that you don't just have to do things for its aesthetic, but more towards how it makes you feel, how you perform on a day-to-day basis, and not just while you're doing the exercise, but also how it makes you feel and what it allows you to do outside of that. So much of the motivation for me to even exercise now is just about, it actually would be a really good thing for you to go to the gym today because you know how it makes you feel up here in your mind. It's great for stress relief. It's just great for making you feel good. But more importantly, how good is it just to move your body, and how great that is for your health outcomes long term? So there was a really big shift for me where it used to be just, I'm going to either show up and win this race, because I used to do track sprinting, or, win this basketball match, or you're going to show up because you're going to win this bodybuilding competition, or it's helping with expending energy because it's going to help you look leaner. That narrative has softened so significantly, and now I can make more balanced decisions where I'm a little bit kinder to myself. If I've had a poor night's sleep or many poor nights sleep, or I've got lots of things going on in my business and my companies, or there's some other personal stresses, in my relationships, or whatever it might be, I have just learned to be a little bit more kind and change the way in which I approach training. So, I'm not going into the gym now with the goal of hitting a PR every single time. It's, you know what, it's good just to get in there and move your body today. You've been sitting down at a computer, or, you haven't done any cardio for a couple of days. Gee, it would be good to get a good sweat up and feel great. So I think the why behind like my choices to exercise now have shifted radically. I
Mhm.
know one of the things that I currently do is bodybuilding. So you had mentioned before, it seems like an interesting combination of sport and I guess mindset when you've had this disordered eating background. And initially, it took me a little while to be able to comprehend or at least explain how these things can work together. And I know when I first got into bodybuilding, it was truly for validation. I felt like I needed acceptance. It was like, I can't be a good nutrition coach if I don't look the part. There was so much weight stigma, like internalized weight stigma. But, with having done so much work on my mindset and self development, I can now choose to do this sport. And like any sport, I love a good challenge, don't we all? It's nice
Right.
to have a goal and to pursue something and then to be successful in that goal. It could be finances, it could be starting your own business, it could be, doing something great for your kids. It's nice to have a goal. So I can do this sport, for the purposes of having, something that's inspiring me, but I'm not attached to it anymore, as in, I'm not attached to the outcome of being lean. It's part of the process. I enjoy the journey, but I can also step away from it. And I do have lots of breaks from this competition. But
Mhm.
I'm also so happy and comfortable in my skin when I'm not, 8% body fat getting on stage for a bikini competition. So, historically, when I would do these competitions, as soon as I would come out of that phase, it was so difficult because I felt like I was leaving me on the table, and
Mhm.
I didn't even know who this person was. I was so my confidence would disappear. Everything about me would change, and it's completely a different relationship that I have with that sport now. So again, it just comes from improving my self-image, improving my confidence, and just showing up and being my authentic self.
Yeah.
um, yeah, just letting go of the pressure that I used to have, which again, I manufactured all of that. Now
Yeah.
I was taught that obviously as a young girl, but I allowed that narrative to continue to exist in my mind. So I had to really push back and provide, a new belief system. And that took a lot of time. But like, here we are. Now I can do this really comfortably and kind of, ebb and flow. My weight kind of fluxes back and forth. And, I feel good about that. It's fit needs to fit with my life, obviously. And I'm also good at recognizing when, this hobby, it's probably a little bit too much right now. Let's step back out of that. It'll be there waiting if you want to do it or if you have the time to commit to.